Thank you for watching Hack the File. I'm Michael Lopez, and on today's episode, we're going to be doing the second video in the C++ keylogger book. Enjoy. All right, we're back. Let's see where we left off. I think in that first video, we got through everything, the prequel of everything. And now we're going to try to build our basic keylogger. So we installed Visual Studio and all that, right? Hopefully. So this is what we're going to do. We are going to come here. All I did was open up the Visual Studio, right? I'm going to come down here and create new project. And we're doing C++. So I'm going to keep scrolling until I see how that says C#. I'm going to keep scrolling until I see C++, right? And so now we're in see the two pluses. That's C++, or right here, C++, Windows console. Start from scratch, C++ for Windows, provides no starting files. We might want to do this console app. Run code in a Windows terminal. Prints hello world by default, C++, Windows console. Might be this one. So we're going to double click that one. I'm going to call this keylogger. We'll call it a C++ keylogger. And I haven't used this in a while, so it might be the other one, but it's fine. Alright, that's where it's going to be. We're going to place the solution and the project in the same directory. Alright, that's fine. Source repo. Let's put this somewhere different. I want to put this. Let me see. Let me get the. I'm gonna get my drive over here. Give me 1 second. Come on. Man, I'm kind of tired. All right, let's do this. It's gonna be fun. All right. Let's put it right here. Oh man, terrible, terrible. I'm gonna put it right there instead. All right, let's create my project, and this is what it's gonna look like. So this Visual Studio is awesome, right? You can create in here. It's got a main function for you. Enter your main. Hello world. Now, if I run this, it's gonna pop out that hello world, right? So it tells you actually right here, run program Control plus F5 or debug, start without debugging menu. And we're gonna do that. We're gonna go debug, start without debugging, and it's gonna say hello world here in a minute. There it goes. It's gonna pump it out to the console. Oh no, what happened here? That didn't work. I mean, let's start with debugging. What's going on here? See, hello world. See it up there? So I mean, it works. Um, did that first one work? Start without debugging. Yeah, the first one worked too. Said hello world. All right. So we got our console up. I mean, our environment. This is called a environment, right? IDE. So I forget what the I stands for, but development environment, integrated development environment, right, or something like that. So this is where we're gonna create our keylogger. Let's see what we got to do with the first one. The first thing we're gonna need for this keylogger are the include Windows. Let me get some water. Include Windows H and hash or whatever library include win user H. Header files because we're going to be needing some functions, which these are the requirement. Building loops within loops, nested loops, is important as the keylogger will have lots and lots of this within it. The program below shows how a loop is built within another loop and made to run definitely. So we're not going to look at that. We're going to add these two, okay? So I'm going to put this up here and then I'm going to add these two. So what we're going to do is we're going to take out this because we don't need that, right? Let's bring this up. We're going to come to the next line and we're going to say, and under this one's already got IOStream, which is like a file thing. So this one says include Windows. Windows.h. The next one will include Win user. And these are gonna pop up the Win user .h. The recommended ones, the things you're looking for. So now we've got our libraries, right? We're gonna need these libraries. We're gonna leave all this rest of the stuff alone. We don't need any tips, but I'm glad they give you all this. But we're gonna delete these already. There we go. So what I like to do is I like to save all, right? And it's gonna save all in our little project directory wherever we put our project, right? So mine was on my local C. So we're gonna come here. And hack the file. keylogger, and then there's my keylogger folder, right? It's gonna have, so my keylogger folder is gonna have all kinds of stuff right here. And these are the files to, your SLN. These are the files for your program. See, and it makes a folder and puts them all in it. And there's my keylogger. Right? So let's go ahead and keep going. I did the first thing. Like I said, we don't need to look at this one. On line 11, a variable type of char is created, and on line 13, the first loop begins within the parentheses of this loop. Conditions are set to govern the operation of the program block. A variable I of integer is created and initialized to 0. The loop is set to continue running as I is less than E, i.e. I will run 2 times. The I++ counts records number of cycles the program has completed, and it stops once it satisfies the condition I is less than 3. The beginning and the end of the start finish of this loop is defined by the braces which span from line. Okay, so this just explains this. It's fine. We might have to zoom in and copy this. Note: curly braces are used to mark the beginning and the end of a function. In other words, the for loop on line 13 will begin, and once it begins, it will start evaluating the conditions laid out within it. If value is true, i.e. if I is less than 3, it will run whenever the code's within the curly brackets. Okay. Line 15 and 18 will have another for loop instead of one of the first, the pro yada yada yada. Okay, what is this wanting to do? Wanting me to do this? Now that you have an understanding of how nested structures work, let's get right into its application on the keylogger. From the figure directly above, line 12 contains the for loop, the 2 semicolons with the parentheses. Specific with the loops is an infinite. Alright, ceasing on line 14. Let me close this real quick. This range of characters is obtained by the AC blah blah close and is necessary to carry out. Below is an example of the table. Each number represents a number of characters. In our keylogger program, line 14 contains characters. Okay, we're going to read all this, but each time a user presses a key, it will open up again. Okay, it seems like with their primitive. Alright, so it's wanting to copy that. So that's fine. That's how this is going to work. We're going to copy this. And then we're going to copy the other one. Okay, so let's just go here. I'm going to zoom in on this because I can't see this at all. Oh, man. I need to figure out a good way to do this. Let's see if I can take it. Nope. How's that gonna work? Let me just look at it and see what we're doing. Alright, that's not the one we're trying to look at. It's gonna be this one. Man, how do I zoom in with this just by... But let's see if I gotta zoom up here. I can actually see that pretty good. You guys can't see it, but all right. Let's start building this loop, I guess. Integer J. All right. So this is what that looks like. So you got to add using namespace std up here. It doesn't tell you that in the bug, but shows you in the picture, and you have to have this. I forget what reason. It's basically like a shortcut, so you don't have to enter in something or other fully down here. I can't remember. Anyways, so here's my integer main, and so in my main block or my main program, I'm gonna put these brackets right. It came with it, so I just added that code in there. So char c, right, and then I can even gap that if I want. And we're creating a for loop for integer I equals 0. So now it's saying that it's setting the integer I at 0. If I is less than 3, keep adding in this for loop. So it's going to say I is 0. It's going to come down here and it's going to say J is 0. If J is less than 3, keep adding. It's going to come here and it's going to say I am second. It's going to output J. It's going to say and I am first. I don't know how that adds, but let's see if we can run this and see if that works. It's going to keep going, right? So I am second. This is what the program did. So it ran, said I am second. Okay, and then J, and that's 0. I am first. No, I am second. J was 1 because it added J++ right here. So 0, 1, 2. I am first. And then that stopped, right? Because it hit 3. It's not less than 3, so that stops. So now the first one's going to say, I am first, 0. I am second, 0. I am second. Yeah, it's just going to keep going. I am first, 1 now. Because now when this goes through this loop, it starts again and it pluses it, right? So now it's at 1. So it's going to do it until it gets to 2 because it's less than 3, right? So that's how that works. Run, done, run. No, hold on. Run, done. Run again, run, done, run again, run, done, and then it's done. And it breaks out of this little loop cycle. See? And it stops. So that's how that works. A little for loop, right? That's how it's going to work. So, I guess it's going to start there. Now let's go to the next thing we have to do. And we don't have to read this because I just basically explained it. In other words, okay, curly braces, okay. In other words, the for loop on line 13 will begin once, and then it will evaluate the condition. If it's true, blah, blah. Exit the second loop, blah, blah. The first condition evaluates true again, blah, blah. Study the program below, taking cognizance of its output. We already did that. See, and then there's what we got. Now that you have an understanding of how the nested structures work, let's get right into the application of the keylogger on the keylogger. Yeah. I can already see where this is going. All right, I'm going to type this in. That way we can save time. I'll have to type it over here because I don't have too many. Just 1 minute. Okay. All right. So this is what it looks like. And if you want to copy that, or if you want to pause it, if you want to, type that in, pause it and type it in, you can. Let's move on to the next thing. From the figure directly above, line 12, 4, contains a for loop. The two semicolons within this parenthesis specifies that the loop is an infinite one, i.e. it is set to run continuously without ceasing. On line 14, the 4, on line 14 lies a nested loop whose conditions specify the range of characters the program will be able to read. This range of characters is obtained from the ASCII codes. It is not necessary to carry the ASCII table in your head. Reference can simply be made to it from the internet. Below is an example of the ASCII code. Can't see it. Each number represents a number of characters in our keylogger program. Line 14 contains characters within 8 to 222 from the ASCII table. The statement in line 16 is a statement new to us. However, it is nothing complex. It is called a system interrupt function. Line 16. And that is get asymmetric key. What it simply does is observes if a computer user types anything in his keyboard. Considering the fact that it is used with an if statement, it says, however, the user pressed any key yet. If yes, store the keys in our variable C, and then based on line 18 and 19, send it to our file. On the same line within the parentheses, the iOS, on the same line within the parentheses, iOS something app function specifies that we don't want our file to be rewritten every time somebody presses a key. If we don't specify this, each time a user presses a key, the file will open again, and whatever was written previously will be overwritten. It seems like we're done with our primitive keylogger and are ready to run it. However, if we try to run the program the way it is, we'll get an error at a glance. What do you think the result error is? It's this, the F string. So I included it to get rid of this because it was red. It had errors. The header file for this, which lets us utilize the OFStream function, is include fstream. Now with the following header at the top of our code, our program will run successfully. And then there's the fstream. Include fstream, you gotta put that in there. On running the keylogger program in our Eclipse environment, we will think that the program is not functioning because nothing will be printed on the window console. This is normal, however, as we didn't specify anywhere within the code that inputs be printed, but instead be sent to our file. Our little keylogger function storing keystrokes we make anywhere on our system presently and sending them to record text. What? Our little keylogger functions storing keystrokes we make anywhere on our system presently and sending them to the record.txt. For proof that the keylogger works, let us visit our browser, make inputs, and return to our file to see. All right, so we've finished writing all this in, and we've read all this, and now we're gonna test it now. This is what it's gonna look like. So what I did was I modified it a little bit because I didn't want this to just print out in the default folder. So I said OF stream right, and then I added the parentheses. Then I added the path where I want it to go, and then the file name. So in the book it says, a little bit different. It wants us to put record. Record.txt is what they want to call it, and it's going to go to the default. If you don't specify the path you want it's going to go into just the program file, and I don't want it there. I wanted it in its own file, and I'm going to call it rfile.txt, right? And then it's going to write the keylog, the keystrokes, and that's it. That's basically your basic keylogger, man. I mean, it's that simple. Get a sync key state is basically the method it's using in a for loop within a for loop and an if statement, and that's it. Okay, so now we're gonna run this. I'm gonna build it, right? So I'm gonna go here, rebuild solution, just to make sure it builds and it compiles it, right? Because C++ is a compile language. So it says rebuild all, it succeeded, nothing failed. It's great. It's built right? Small little program. And we're gonna run it. So I'm just gonna press this, right? And it wants us to do something with the browser or whatever. I'm not gonna do that. But see how it's running in infinite loop. The memory process, everything's running. It's running, right? My program is running infinite loop. We're not gonna worry about this. We're gonna come over here and we're gonna take let's say I log into my email, right? And I'm like, I go to my browser and I'm like, okay, Gmail, login, log on, whatever. And then I click on the browser on the Gmail and it's like signed in. So then I'm like, okay, so and so at gmail.com. Then it's gonna say enter your username. Username is gonna be HackTheFile. Password is gonna be password. Right? And I'm in. And then an hour later, I'm like, all right, I want to log into my bank, so I'm gonna say bank. Iron Bank. And they're gonna say, all right, Iron Bank. They're gonna ask, what's your whatever account number, and I'm gonna say 90 whatever. So what's your password? My password is whatever. What was that damn thing's name? Anyways, winter is coming. Right. I don't know. It's built. Alright, then you're waiting there. Okay. Now let's see what happened. Let's see if that recorded, if this little program ran. I'm going to stop my little program. I'm going to pull up my location where I wanted it, right? To save the keystrokes. And there you go. and it's got 1 kilobyte of information, so it obviously worked. So I wanted mine in its own in the keylog. I specified the wrong damn keylog file. Anyways, so here it is, and this is what it recorded: Gmail login, so and so to gmail.com, hack the file, password, bank, Iron Bank. There you go. It works, and that's cool. So we just created with C++ our own little keylogger, right? Now, if you looked at that, that didn't look that good, right? I mean, if you look at it, it looks like crap. You know, it's missing stuff. And we're going to keep going on this, but we know that it works, right? And you can specify your path. And I didn't specify my path right. So I'm going to take this. Oh, no, yeah, it did. C++. Anyways, so that's how you do it. That's how you make your own little keylogger. Now let's make it better, because it looks like, I mean, it's not finished, but that's a basic one, right? But that works, man. That's awesome. Let's keep going. We have succeeded in writing a very simple keylogger. However, it lacks some features such as filters, which we will filter out some unwanted characters such as the tab-like spaces that appear when we made inputs. Also, we will work on adding other features to it. The keylogger we build isn't too majorly because of the way it records information. When we ran it, we discovered that it couldn't handle spaces and tabs alike, but just saved the input anyways. Let us build more functions to our keylogger so we'll become better at handling inputs. We can achieve this by utilizing switch statements. Let's get this in right away. Mention was made earlier that in order for us to equip a keylogger with the compatibility of handling spaces, tabs, and other characters, we will have to utilize the switch statement. However, before we bring in our switch statement, we will need to group our previously written. We will need to group our previously written codes under one function, void log. To make things easier for us, our grouping will be done as shown in the figure below. So on line 8, the void function with the name log is created to house our previous code. This function will return no value. Furthermore, as required, void is called within the main function on line 8, so it can be used at any time by simply calling it and not having to rewrite it all over again. On retesting the program, it will run just like it previously did, incorporating the switch statement, which references the statement on line 27. Oh, okay, well, I think it's going to show me something else here. Okay, we're adding the switch statement. Okay, so let's turn this into that. So this is what they want us to do. So they want us to, in our main, when our main runs, it's going to run the function log, and then Since our log is an infinite loop, it's going to keep on doing that running. And our void log, it's just going to have our old code in it. And then we're going to modify that right now. So it's going to run this in the main, and which is this. Okay? That's it. Simply. We're doing that because we want to add more stuff to this. We want to add a switch statement and all that too. And if you have it in your main, I think it's a little harder or something. So, all right, let's see. We'll put it back in later as a default case. For the main time, let's take it out so we can put it. So we could put our cases in it in place. As on line 28, write the switch statement and pass whatever happens in the variable C, which was created earlier, to switch by parenthesizing it. So whatever comes into the variable as handled by the switch. Let's create a case, one of different conditions, say case 8. So if the variable C has a numerical value of 8, as in this case, the ASCII, it means it is a backspace. We keep on adding cases, utilizing different numbers from the ASCII code, depending on what the numbers represent. So our keylogger can relate to almost any character the user inputs. Now, are we just gonna just put 1 through 8, or what? So in other words, what the statements from line 22 to 35 does is this. All right, let's do a switch. So we're gonna put a switch in that thing's place. So we're gonna say switch. All right, that's what this looks like. So instead of writing C just as the default, it's going to come to this switch statement that's going to check to see if I entered in any of these in the asymmetric in my keyboard, right? In case 8, it's going to check for that, and if it is, in which the 8 was backspace, right? It's going to write a backspace. If it's 27, which is escape, it's going to escape. 127 is space. 32 is enter. I'm going to add a new line. Default is C. It's just going to write whatever it is default if it catches that default. So, said in other words, the statement from line 22 to 35 does this. Line 22 covers the ASCII code with an 8 and 222. Line 24 has a conditional statement which checks to see if there has been any key interruptions. If any key users on the keyboard have been pressed and the value is true, records it. Make sure the input do not overwrite it. Evaluate it. Okay, we don't need to read that. Time has been taken to include cases that will cover a lot of possible characters that can be utilized for username or passwords. As this will make the keylogger save user inputs in the way it can be understood, let's take a look at the upper lowercase. Let's add some upper. Just as important as the upper and lower cases are to English language, they're important to the general programming, especially when it comes to utilizing the purpose of the keylogger. We have to learn how to differentiate between the two letter cases. We'll also be doing this little bit of filtering with the tab, caps lock, shift, arrow, mouse key. Alright. Well, we can differentiate between upper and lower case by using the state of shift key. We can also use the state of the arrow key too. So if either two of these keys is pressed, then we can write capital letters. By default, the program above will write a capital letter. It's true that slight changes have been made to the program or keylogger shown in the figure, but nevertheless, do not gather butterflies in your stomach as we'll analyze the whole program. We have mentioned that the first keylogger we made was primitive. Gradually, we are going to make it more sophisticated. One of the things we have changed is the variable in which the keystrokes are placed. Giving names, information to place variables, good practice, blah, blah, blah. Okay, what is this? Is it wanted to add char for sleep? I can't see that. So, okay. One of the things we have changed is the variable in which our keystrokes are placed. We changed its name from C to key. Giving names that fit the information to be placed in variables is a good practice. We're not going to do that. We don't care. We really don't care. On line 23, we have incorporated the sleep function through though it has been commented out for the time being, it will be used later on. Okay, so we're going to add the sleep function on there, I guess. And what I did was I just said right here, I put the comment line / sleep function. I'm going to add it right here, right? And I'm sure that's going to come in handy. It's going to sleep when they're not typing or something, which is awesome. On line 23, we have incorporated the sleep function. The sleep function helps prevent the CPU from maxing, causing it to slow down as a result of running repetitively. However, the sleep function is not the best solution for preventing the CPU from maxing out. For now, we'll use it to avoid getting into complex matters. While the sleep function will pause the program for any number of milliseconds, put within the parentheses sleep 1, 2, 5, etc. The sleep function with 0 within its parentheses does something different. It tells the program to stop using the CPU whenever another program wants to use it. Let's go ahead and analyze the code from line 31 down, as it is in a block that works together. I'm going to do this one though. I want to hide this keylogger. Basically, we have incorporated a lot of in our keylogger, and we can say that it's done. However, there are still two important things left for us to do before we say we have completed our keylogger. First is creating a release version of the keylogger so it can be installed on a CD or sent as a file, and the second is hiding the file. We will also see a problem the keylogger has, which we cannot see while running it from within the Eclipse environment. Here are the steps to creating a release version of our keylogger. Being that the program is well written within the editor, go to the hammer on the upper left corner from the drop menu, debug, and release. Ensure the keylogger is not running to avoid getting an error message. Then select build, open the file manager, and go into our workspace. Click keylogger, which is the name of the project. We have a debug version and a release version. Now the release version of our keylogger is ready for execution. Clicking on the keylogger.exe, the black window records whatever keys we pressed, but it isn't good at all, as whoever sees such a display on their screen will smell a rat. And what do we do? Probably press the X button to close it, and that's it. Your keylogger stops running. However, there's a way we can hide this window. We can do this by creating a function that will hide the entire program within our code. Let us begin by giving the function a name, and this will help us identify it within the code so we can make a reference whenever we need to. We'll call it hide, void hide. All right. This is how that looks. Void hide. You add it to your up here, global or whatever this is, using namespace. I don't know. I would say this would be your global, right? Your integer main. We're gonna add the function in here, so when it runs your main program, it runs the hide too. Okay. Okay, in creating the function that will hide the keylogger, we will need to first create a function outside the main function and then call it within the main function. We'll also need to create another function at the end of the program. On line 9, a function that will hide the keylogger is created with the name hide. It is created outside the main function. Following this, the function is called within the main function. An extension of this function is also added to the end of the program as seen in figure. So we're going to come here. Alright, so that's how it looks, and that's how I guess we're adding the. So you come out of this main, or yeah, your void log, because it's different function. Now we're creating another one called void hide, and this is what we're adding. Right? You can pause it, add that. If you can't read that in the book, well, I know you can't because I can barely read it. But basically, we're adding a stealth and a bunch of other functions. I'm going to read what they mean, I guess. And we're setting it to 0, which is going to hide it, right? When it's running. Okay, let's see. Okay, line 182 is a handler called stealth. It's created to handle the input. The keylogger window being displayed on the home screen, generated by find window A function on line detail of the keylogger window which has been obtained. 0 is set to 0, implying that it shouldn't be displayed on the home screen. That's done. On building and releasing a keylogger, a fresh executable file. That's done. On building and releasing our keylogger, a fresh as executable file, we obtain a wonderful result. The keylogger no longer displays a window on the home screen. So not even you, the creator, can see that it's running. Confirming whether your code is running might be a problem, however. A way you can check to see if it's writing something anywhere on your system, perhaps your notepad. After this, open your workspace as well as record file. If your keystrokes are being saved, it works. If you have gotten this point, congrats to you! Haha! Finally, we have come to the end of this course, which illustrates how to build a keylogger with C++. However, at the point, making your own keylogger shouldn't seem like an impossible task. Accomplish this without much stress. Though keyloggers we have built here might not be the most advanced there is out there, or with the super features you expect a keylogger to have. However, with the knowledge you have gathered on this building, we have here making others with more advanced features such as webcam activation, screen capturing, and other cool features wouldn't be a problem to you with a little research. So that's right, you could research how to add a key, anything to this basic keylogger. And all you're going to do is add these void functions, just like you added the hide function and your main function, right? Furthermore, if you follow the course, it is expected that you understand pretty much about the C++ programming language, its syntax, how it functions, and you're able to write your own programs besides the keylogger which you have just built. Continue practicing, researching, and finding solutions to problems you will encounter along the way, and you will do great improvements. About the author, Alan T. Norman is a proud, savvy, ethical hacker from San Francisco, Los Calles de San Fran. After receiving a Bachelor's of Science at Stanford University, Alan now works for a mid-sized informational technology firm in the heart of San Francisco. He aspires to work for the United States government as a security hacker, but also loves teaching others about the future of technology. Alan firmly believes that the future will heavily rely on computer geeks for both security and the success of companies and future jobs alike. In his spare time, he loves to analyze and scrutinize everything about the game of basketball. Ain't that neat? Did you enjoy the book? Oh yeah, we did. No. And let's build this and see if it runs, and then we'll. No, I didn't add that sleep function, but all right, we'll add that eventually. But let's build this. Rebuild solution. Make sure it builds, and it might not. Okay, so it succeeded. We're good. Now we're gonna run this and see if that. Oh, it's probably not gonna work right here, but until we do the. Until we build the release. So let's see if this is working again. So what we're gonna do is, yeah, we're gonna run this, and we're going to type in our in here again, not in there. I'm gonna close that. All right. So we'll go to my let's say I'm gonna go to YouTube, whatever. I'm gonna look for hack the file. Type in I'm gonna type in password again. So, but this one's gonna be password 1 2 oh backspace 2 3. All right, that's it. I'm gonna stop this. I'm gonna see if that open. As you can see, it's still showing this thing right. But when we do what it said to do, hopefully it doesn't. So let's look up this. Alright, so as you can see, this is our old stuff. It shows that I put an enter right here now. And then it does a caret or whatever. You enter to. So it's showing me like what I'm doing. It shows that I pushed enter when I pushed enter, which is fine. Now, what we can do is we can modify this, take out these arrows, but I guess you might want them there. Tube, hack the file, and then I press the enter again. Password 1 2 backspace. Oh, wait a minute, made a mistake. Escape, delete. Yeah, this all has to be fixed. And so this is the joys of programming, right? We're gonna come in here. I'm gonna fix these switch statements, and we're going to actually look up the ASI codes and get these right, and put in here what we want our program to enter in our little text file in our keylogger. And we'll get this sucker fine-tuned. You can add stuff. I don't know if this hide is working yet, so we're going to see. But, I mean, it works a little bit better now, right? It's because that's important. Because what if they enter in the wrong, letter in their password? They're gonna press backspace and it'll show you that they pressed it and they fixed it. So this is a cool little keylogger. It's a basic C++ keylogger. Now, and you can just keep adding to it. Okay, it says on the toolbar. Oh yeah, right here. Release. Now I'm gonna build this in release mode, right? Is that how that works? To change the build configuration on the tool, or to build a configuration. Now, did it make an executable file on the release? Don't know. Let's see. When I did that, keylogger. Yeah, there it is, right there. Debug release. Debug release. Where's my executable file? That's funny. It won't let me run it on my. It won't let me run it on my antivirus. But yeah, I already know. All right, so this is what I'm trying to run. Oh man, what's going on here? I'm gonna allow it. Sure, threat Trojan. Yeah, good to see that my good to see that my Windows thing is working. But I'm going to allow this one time. Let's see if it's running. Oh man, come on, what am I doing? Where's the program? Just get erased. It's pretty cool. See, my Windows security is not letting me, but I'm gonna allow it one time. I want to see if it's building in the back. Let's see if it's working. So I don't see any. I don't see any um, command command line, right? So there's nothing here. There's nothing on my other screen, and I'm going to start typing. And now let's see if that's working. So come here. And I'll look at my let's see. I'm gonna see if this is running. Yeah, so that's not even running. It still doesn't want to let it run. And that executable, I mean, the command line's still coming up, so I don't know. So it works. It just didn't, I mean, it's still working. It just didn't hide. This is what I just typed in. It just didn't hide this thing. This popped right up on the screen. So for whatever reason, it didn't want to hide that. And that's just something you gotta figure out on your own. Come here and see why I didn't. You can debug to this. Maybe I did something wrong here. Maybe I missed something. But that's it. I mean, that worked, man. This was a fun little project. And we just created our own little keylogger with this book. This is a $3 book. And you could have Googled this and all that stuff, but I think this goes into more detail. If we would have went through all this other stuff, it would have been cool. But that's something for you guys to do. Pick up this book. It's $3, man. And it was fun. It took 2 videos and we're done. Now I have a C++ keylogger if I need one. You gotta make sure you have the executable on this. And like I said, I mean, my Windows antivirus caught it and would not let it run. So think about what you would have to do then, right? Would you have to encrypt the executable or something for Windows? Or antivirus detection. So, but yeah, so you basically encrypt it or something, right? Or you would do something with it to where it can bypass the antivirus, right? And that you can research, or you can research encryptions, because basically what the antivirus is looking for is a signature, and obviously it found some kind of signature in my code that says that it's malicious, and it said it was severe. So which it is. It's a keylogger. And so there's many ways to bypass antivirus, right? But that's another video, and I actually have a video of that in my ethical hacking book series. And I guess they use encryption and MSF Venom and stuff like that with your payload. So there would be a payload, you encrypt it, use MSF Venom or something like that, and then you should be able to bypass the antivirus. And that we can actually do that on another video. That would be awesome if I could combine two different videos. So that's actually a good idea. I'm gonna write that down. Where I'm gonna take this and try to get it past some Windows antivirus. I've got another Windows VM, and see if I can encrypt it and stuff and get it past it, right? Get it running without the antivirus stopping it. I mean, that's the ultimate goal, right? So, all right, if you had fun, like and subscribe and do some comments, and let me know if you want me to combine these, and uh, actually get this past the antivirus. So, all right, that was Hack the File, and I'll see you next time.